What's up YouTube? For today's video, we have a mono flying type Pokemon team. Now mono flying is one of the more difficult types to do because there's not even 6 Pokemon with only the fly type. Now to make the challenge even more difficult, I'm only allowed to use the flying Terra on all of my Pokemon. So there was no defensive Terras or type changing Terras, pure flying type. This was actually really cool because I had some great battles and I can't wait for you to see them. Can you guess all the mono flying type Pokemon now? Let's see if you can do it right now in the comment section without looking or cheating in Google or something like that. Alright, we got a random battle here. In fact, we got quite a few random battles. This was crazy, right? Because I had a mono flying team and my opponent had a mono rock team. So I was like, this is going to be an absolute disaster, right? So my first Pokemon is Rookidee. We got the PIMPNITE special Tailwind reversal set, and that is going to spell doom for the Dreadnought because it's going to be super effective, and reversal is a very powerful move. Next Pokemon we got here is going to be Corvisquire. The EVs for this Rookidee were max speed and max attack Adamant Nature, and it had the Focus Sash, Keen Eye, Reversal, Hone Claws, Tailwind, and a Brave Bird. So Ogerpon's going to be taken down to its sturdy, which is pretty funny, and Rookidee almost took out 2 Pokemon there itself, which is absolutely awesome. So for this team, I really was struggling for team members, as you'll get to see. So I'm using a flying Arceus here. So I had to try and make it like a troll set. So I made a special one. So I've got Calm Mind, Air Slash, Earth Power, and Dazzling Gleam. Max Special Attack and Max Speed, Timid Nature. And of course, all the Terras on every Pokemon I've got are flying. So out comes Avalugg Hisuian. You don't get to see this very often. And it's going to be Terra Eye. So I know straight away it's going to use Mountain Gale. So going for the Earth Power, good damage there, but since it did a Terra, it was actually able to live that. Now, Mountain Gale coming off Avalugg's fat attack stat, there's no way Arceus is going to be able to live that one. But it was still a pretty good effort there, and at least they've used up their Terra. Next Pokemon is going to be Tornadus. So, Tornadus, I'm going to get roasted for that. Tornadus Therian form. So this is my physical set, which was pretty awful most of the time, but in some battles it actually worked out quite well. We got U-Turn, Acrobatics, Knockoff and Hammer Arm, Regenerator, and max attack and max speed Adamant Nature. Out comes Iron Boulder. Now this was bad, but I was like, well, I've got U-Turn, I've got Knockoff. I'm going to have to go for that, right? I've got 3 Pokemon down, which are rock type. So I outsped, which is really good, and I knocked off the Quick Claw. I was like, what? It's like a slow set? Here comes the Mighty Cleave, and Tornadus absolutely is not going to be able to live that one. If you like these mono-type Pokemon teams, let me know what one you'd like to see next. I've done a couple so far, so give me some suggestions. This is probably going to be the hardest one, I believe. I could be wrong about that. Alright, so bringing in normal Tornadus, we're going to go for a Hurricane. Thank goodness it did miss, and of course we all know that crit mattered. Now this was probably definitely the best set on my team. Nasty Plot, Prankster, Wide Lens is the item, Focus Miss, Hurricane, and Heat Wave. A max special attack and a max speed Timid Nature. Now this is the problem. In comes a yellow Minior, and I'm thinking, man, what can I do here? If I go for Focus Blast and it misses, it's going to be nasty, right? Heat Wave's going to do donkeys. The only way Hurricane's going to do some decent damage is if I go for Terra Flying. So I'm going to have to go for Terra Flying on virtually every single set here. So I may as well go for it and get some extra damage. The thing I was thinking of is it's not going to do tons of damage, but I might be able to put them just below half health so the shields down doesn't activate, so they're not going to be in their more offensive form. So going for Hurricane, pretty excellent damage there, which I was going for. Now, Rock Slide is going to be Minior's moves. I was a little bit worried about Shell Smash there, and that does well over half my health. I'm going to go for Focus Blast this time. Focus Blast is going to connect, and that is the end of the Meteor, or at least I thought it was, because it lives somehow. I guess I guess the Terra and the flying made up for it a lot there, and Tornadus is going to faint. So I was like, man, I think I might have lost here, you know. My last Pokemon on my team, because they got their shields down here, and I was like, this is it. It's Ogre, you know. We got Corvisquire. They are the only mono flying type Pokemon in the game. All right. So it's a tough team. So I got a PIMPNITE special here. We got Roost, Power Trip, Hone Claws, and Agility. Now, I was going to go for a raw Power Trip, but I wasn't liking it. I was thinking, what if it lives on 1 health? And then I die to Rock Slide. So here comes a Rock Slide. This is a super thick Corvisquire, but I got flinched by Rock Slide. You wouldn't read about it, right? So I'm like, this is BS, right? Then they went Explosion. I was like, oh no! Because they still have another Pokemon left, so that means they're going to win. And Corvisquire lived the Explosion, and I'm able to get an attacking move off this turn. Well, you know, an Agility up, right? So I got an Agility up there. Sorry, it got cut out. And their last Pokemon is going to be the Homie Probopass. Interesting fact here, when you use Roost on a mono flying type Pokemon, it turns it typeless. So as you can see, the discharges from Probopass were not super effective. So I was actually able to tank that as well as the Rock Slide. So look at that critical hit, it did nothing. So I was tanking this Probopass out pretty nicely, but then they had a second Quick Claw Pokemon. Like, you can't be serious, right? So that hit me pretty hard here. I'm getting, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to boost up Power Trip. So I've got Agility up, and I'm trying to get these Hone Claws. Now, Probopass is quite a thick Pokemon, so I'm going to need to hit it really hard and have quite a lot of boost. If you want to know my EV spread, I've got max health, 176 in defense, Impish Nature, and 60 in special defense. Big pecs is the ability as well. It's got them big pecs, you know. So I get hit by Probopass. There was quite a number of multiple Quick Claw activations in this matchup here. I lived on 2 health and I got paralyzed. I'm like, no, it's over. It's over. My dream run's over. But I didn't get paralyzed and I managed to get a Roost off. Thank goodness. So I'm thinking, all right, I've got Agility up. I can outspeed Probopass, right? It's a very slow Pokemon. Back to full health again. The hope has been revived. So it's spamming Discharge, really hoping for a Paralyze. I'm thinking, how long is my luck going to last for here? I better start attacking. So Power Trip does all right damage, about a 3-hit KO. Discharge is still hitting me pretty hard here. So I'm thinking, do I go for Power Trip here or do I go for Roost? What if Quick Claw activation? What if I get Paralyzed? It was very scary. Plus my Roost, as you can see, I only had 2 left now. So I had 2 Roosts left and I really had to make them count. So I'm back to full health there. Discharge is going to be neutral due to me being typeless. And guess what happens? Right after that, Probopass gets a Quick Claw. I'm like, oh no. So it hit me pretty hard there. I went for Power Trip this turn. I'm thinking, all right, I have to go for it this turn. I'm not going to go for Roost. I'm just going to go for it. But then I was like, no, I better go for Roost because I know that I'm going to get paralyzed. Like, these things happen to me. So then I wish I went for Power Trip there. Here comes the Discharge. I'm able to live that one due to typeless. And then they got a Quick Claw. I'm like, oh, come on. I'm trying to get the dub. So here comes Discharge again. That's put me back like round where I was before. And thank goodness Power Trip lands and that's Probopass down. That was an insane battle there. You got to admit that was crazy. Mono flying versus rock there. Let's get a like on the video for that one, people. Let me know in the comment section what your favorite flying type Pokemon is. Doesn't have to be mono, could be your favorite flying type of all time. Let me know there. How's your day going? How's the weather? Are you watching this on the toilet? All those sort of things. All right, next battle here. I have no idea what the trainer's name is, but apparently it means my butt or something. I'm not sure. Can you guys fact check that trainer name? Anyway, first Pokemon's gonna be Hatterene here, right? Now Hatterene's gonna go for Trick Room. So I've got Knock Off and U-Turn as my best options here. I was just thinking what I should do, and they went for Dazzling Gleam, which did a fat amount of damage to me. Knock Off is also going to do a really good amount of damage. They're getting rid of Focus Band on Hatterene, so I am glad that item is gone because I don't want that to activate when I'm about to faint them, so I'll get like incredibly salty, right? So here comes Psychic from Hatterene. Like, yeah, I'm not going to live that, but I did on 3 health. It was so close. U-turn does fail to take out the Hatterene, but I've got Regenerator, so I'm going to get some health back there afterwards. So I'm thinking, what should I swap in here? I've got Rookidee. I was like, we'll try Corvisquire. Let's give that a shot. Corvisquire can just go for a raw power trip with no boost. That's what I was hoping for anyway. So Psychic does a little bit under half my health, and I've got Hone Claws going. I thought I should go for that because there's only X amount of turns of the Trick Room left, right? Now, this is pretty funny. I actually outsped a Hatterene under the Trick Room. I thought that, but then they used Trick Room to get rid of the Trick Room. So I was like, oh, so then, that actually worked out really well for me. So then I went for Power Trip and I took out the Hatterene. So maybe they were trying to get rid of that for some faster Pokemon on their team there. I assume so, because they ended it, 1 minute, 1 turn too early. In comes Garganacl, so this is going to be really tanky. I've only got 1 Hone Claws and 1 Agility up, so I thought, you know what? I believe I can tank 1 move here, and then I'll go for Power Trip or try my Roost combination, Stone Miss is going to miss, which is excellent. So that's going to allow me to get another, like a Roost off. So I'm going to go for Roost, get myself back to full health, and it's going to be neutral now. So as you can see, the Stone Edge, that was a critical hit. So if that landed while I was a flying type, that would have one-shotted me easily, absolutely easily. So I thought, well, I'm going to go for Roost again, because I think they may miss. They might miss their Stone Edge. Then they went for Explosion, a second Explosion. And I'm thinking, all right, well, that's actually pretty good because I got rid of them. I believe that my Power Trip would have needed a good 3 hits to take that out. It's got some very, very nice bulk. So things are going pretty swimmingly right now. Oh, look, there's a Gyarados. So Gyarados going to use Intimidate on the Corviknight. That's got that ability. I thought about going for Roost here for a bit, but like, no, I'm going to go Hone Claws. I should be able to leave 1 move here and then go for Power Trip. So Gyarados surprised me a little bit. It's a special set. It's like, oh, I didn't expect that. Since I've got some, I've got Everlight and Gyarados' special attack isn't the greatest in the world, I'm able to get some really, really good damage. Then they unloaded a Hydro Pump, and I only narrowly lived that as well. So, props on this random person for using the special Gyarados. That's going to be in a Gyarados. Obviously, Power Trip is a clean 2-hit KO there. So, half the team's down so far. It's really good. We're getting dubs. Then Koraidon appeared. So, I mean, I know I've got like somewhat of an advantage here with the speed, but I knew that Koraidon resisted Power Trip and he wasn't going to do a lot of damage. So I just went for that. I didn't think there was any point going for Roost because he was just going to use Collision Course, but he used Flamethrower. I'm like, what the heck? It's a special set. Alright, so that took out my Corvisquire. Props this person. They've got some interesting sets here so far. So bringing in Rookidee, I thought, ooh, I might be able to get a fat reversal here, but I couldn't help myself there. The inner troll inside of me was calling for me to do Brave Bird and Terra Flying, right? So I wanted to see how much damage it would do. So first things first, to outspeed Koraidon, I needed to get a Tailwind up, right? Because Rookidee's attack and speed are absolutely garbage. So now that I can outspeed Koraidon, I was like, I bet the opponent will never expect me to go for Terra on 1 HP and go for Brave Bird as well, There's no way they're going to expect that. I mean, they might expect an attacking move, but definitely not a Terra. I do like doing Terra on 1 HP sometimes in situations that can really throw the opponent off. In this case, it is going to be a KO for Rookidee because I've only got 1 health, but I thought, let's do it. This is PIMPNITE's channel, right? So I hit it with a Brave Bird and I took it out, which is absolutely awesome. So Koraidon is going to faint, and Rookidee is going to faint as well. Only on PIMPNITE's channel there, so that was some quality content. Now, thinking who I should bring back in here, I was like, well, I could bring in Tornadus. It's already taken a little bit of a hit earlier, so I could swap it in and then swap it back out and get some more Regenerator. That could be quite handy. Now, the next Pokemon is Ursaluna Bloodman. I'm like, is this going to be a physical set like this time, or is it, I don't know what to expect. Another Quick Claw, another Quick Claw, another battle, and they're going to use Blood Moves. I'm like, yeah, this set's a standard one, so this needs to go. This actually needs to go. So suddenly 3 of my team have gone. I've got 2 Pokemon left. I've got normal Tornadus, and I've got Arceus Flying left. So I thought, I've got Focus Mist. Let's go for that, right? Let's see how much that does. And Ursaluna gets completely dominated in 1 shot, so that's really, really good. They've got one more Pokemon left. The last Pokemon is going to be Arcanine. Now, Arcanine's going to drop my attack, which is not going to change anything. I've got Hurricane, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to see what they're going to try first. What Terra are they going to use? What moveset is this? I thought Arceus would be a good Pokemon just to tank the move, and, just see what it's going to do. So we got a Terra here, as expected. But I wasn't sure what sort of moveset it was going to be, like physical or special. And they're going to have Terra Fire. So I'm like, all right. Is this going to be Flare Blitz? Pretty powerful move on Arcanine, and it is. Flare Blitz and Terra Fire, that does a heap of damage. So that is actually a 2-hit KO on my Arceus, easily, right? So I thought, well, I could go for Earth Power here, or I could try and flinch them with Air Slash. So I went for Air Slash, almost took them out, and they didn't get a flinch. They're going to be able to get a Flare Blitz here, but the problem is, right, I actually managed to live that, and they fainted to the recoil. So that is the end of the battle there. A salty, salty finish from my opponent, but still that was a pretty cool battle there. An interesting special Gyarados and special Koraidon there. I'll give them props for that, saying it is my random opponent. Let's get on to battle number 3 today. If you're enjoying the video, you want to support the channel, hit that like button, people. Tell me what your favorite flying type is. Don't say Mega Dragonite. All right, battle number 3 today. We got 7 battles today. First Pokemon's going to be Zekrom. So Zekrom's a scary Pokemon. So I need to set up the Tailwind as soon as humanly possible. So here comes the Fusion Bolt. Fusion Bolt obviously is going to put Rookidee down to 1 HP. Rookidee's nuts, Now, I didn't get paralyzed, which is great. And I've got a full power reversal. So I thought I'll get some damage, but this has impressive bulk Zekrom, it always has. Then they use Dragon Dance. I'm like, wait a second. So this is a slow, bulky set. Now, since that went second there with Dragon Dance, I thought I should be able to get another reversal off, and I did, which is really good. So I was able to get 2 attacking moves off there, almost fainting Zekrom. So Zekrom finished off with Terra Blast. So they've got a Terra there, a different type of Terra. I doubt it'd be Terra Dragon, right? So bringing in Tornadus, this is actually pretty fast, and I went for Hammer Arm, and it missed. I was like, you've got to be joking me. So that missed, and of course now they've got a spammable Fusion Bolt with the Dragon Dance up. And I've lost my Focus Sash Pokemon, so it's a disaster. But the only thing is, I noticed it did get outsped there, even with the Dragon Dance. So I thought maybe I can outspeed it with Arceus. I know that I've lost my Tailwind, but Rookidee actually outsped it, so this has got no speed EVs whatsoever. It's all bulk and attack. So I've got Earth Power. I did think about going for Disrespect Air Slash, but I changed my mind now. I was like, if that misses, I'm absolutely going to lose. And Zekrom's down, so crisis averted, but I still lost like half my team there. Next Pokemon. Now, I seen in the team preview, I'm like, this better not be an Arceus that's like got the electric plate. And thank goodness it wasn't, right? Because that would have been like an ultimate counter. So I go for Calm Mind here on the opposing Arceus. Now, this Arceus had Terra Blast as well, so that's not going to do anything to my Arceus with a Calm Mind up. So I've got Air Slash, and I thought I'd just go for that. Good damage on Arceus, really, really good damage. Then it went for Avalanche. I'm like, what the heck? I never was expecting that. So this is a Terra Ground Arceus there. So that is the end of Arceus, but never would I expected Avalanche. That was really funny. So next Pokemon's going to be Tower Master, Rayquaza the Tower Master. Now, I was talking about Avalanche before, right? You watch this. So I went for Terra Flying Air Slash. I thought I really do need to go for this because Rayquaza is fast and it hits really, really hard. So I've got that. I've got them balloons on my head there, them helium balloons, and I went for Air Slash. So it landed, which is very, very good. I was hoping to get a feint here. It just lives, and guess what? It used Avalanche as well. You wouldn't read about it. Like, there's no way. So the Arceus had Avalanche, and so did the Rayquaza. That was so strange. I was like, that was actually a really good counter to my team because, having that, they were obviously going to go second, and then it was an Ice type move. So it was a strange move that you don't get to see too often, especially on fast Pokemon. So Corvisquire is going to come in. I've got Agility here. They went for Avalanche again because Avalanche is a negative priority move, right? So I thought they may be inclined to go for that. So I managed to get a Agility up. And then I went for Hone Claws. I'm like, all right, looks like Rayquaza's just going to go for Avalanche, you know. They're not going to go for Dragon Ascent. And then, you know, the moment I thought or said that, right, they used it. But this is a bulky Corvisquire, and it's able to take some really good hits. Now, I was thinking, do you have extreme speed? That might be a problem here. So I decided to go for Roost. There wasn't extreme speed. So I wasn't really surprised by that because they seem to have like a different sort of moveset here. So they're going to keep using Dragon Ascent over and over. And that's hitting really, really hard. So it's put me back around what I was before, you know, before Roost. So I thought, well, I know I can get a KO here with Power Trip because they've dropped their defenses so much. I may as well just do that and finish it off, right? I wouldn't want to get critical hit there. That would be bad. So that's 3 Pokemon down. Things are starting to look up a little bit. Next Pokemon is Latias. So Latias can have a multitude of moves like Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, stuff like that. So I figured, let's see what it's got first. Let's see what I sort of said it's going to be. And we're going to go for Roost there. So I got Roost up. They just went for a straight up Raw Psychic. That definitely would have fated me if I didn't Roost. I thought, gee, I could try and get another boost up here. Let's just go for Power Trip. I'm feeling confident about the damage. And I got really good damage, but Latios is quite a bulky Pokemon run. Dragapulse is going to finish me off. Obviously it seemed to have nothing that was super effective. Just, you know, neutral moves there. So bringing in Tornadus, I've got Hurricane. That's about it. But I thought, this is a good opportunity for me here. I can get a nasty pot up for the next couple of Pokemon. Then the Latios went for a Wish. I'm like, oh, I hope this doesn't have Protect. Or I hope I don't miss, you know what I'm saying? Because that'll be back to 12. So I went for Hurricane. It didn't miss, thank goodness. And that's the end of Latios. So that's a pretty good outcome for me. I mean, it is my last Pokemon, so I virtually couldn't lose it. So 2 more Pokemon left here. We've got Terrapagus. Now, this Pokemon did scare me a bit because it's got some good bulk, and I would have to rely on probably Focus Blast for some fat damage. So I thought to myself, they haven't Terra'd yet. I think they may Terra here, and if they don't, they don't. But if they do, I'll go for Focus Blast, and that's going to be super effective. That could be really funny. So I went for Focus Blast, and it lands like this is going to do some incredible damage here, right? And it completely dropped them, so they didn't want to make use of their shell at all. And that was also a critical hit too. So that's the entire family tree of Terrapagus fainted, right? That's excellent stuff. The last Pokemon they've got here is going to be Reshiram. So Reshiram, I was feeling like it might be able to leave my Hurricane really badly. So I went for Hurricane, it landed again, which is great, and it took it out. So I was like, that's it, that's the end of the battle. So not the Terrapagus, the Tornadus managed to take out those last couple of Pokemon. That nasty plot really did a number on that last few Pokemon there. Next battle here, this one is against Whelan, I don't know how to say that. And we've got a Grimmsnarl lead. I've never seen one of these in my life. I'm actually kind of wondering what I should do for the next Mono team. I know this one's a tough one. I think Mono, Bug, or Ice would be hard as well. I don't think there's any other ones for just 5 Pokemon though. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you've done some research, then there's only like, I don't know. I also count baby evolutions and all those sort of things too. So Grimmsnarl's going to miss a Thunder Wave, a little bit salty there, and I'm going to go for Calm Mind. And out comes Toucannon. Good to see Toucannon being used. Toucannon generally is used for the same thing there, especially in singles for skilling. So I'm going to go try and get an Air Slash off there. It narrowly lived it and got a Rock Blast off here. So Rock Blast skill link is actually pretty good for this team because they're all obviously they're all flying. Now Arceus' natural bulk just allows it to live that one. That's the only reason I live that. Otherwise, that definitely would have fainted there. So I've got Air Slash. I'm going to go for that, but they're going to conserve their Toucannon, of course. I thought they may not, but they did. Then they brought in Grimmsnarl. So I thought, all right, you're going to try and get a screen up, and maybe your Toucannon has a way of recovery, or it's Tailwind or something like that. I was just waiting. So anyway, Grimmsnarl got its light screen up there. That's going to be no problem for Arceus to faint it. But I actually managed to get one more turn there, so I was able to get a Thunder Wave off, which didn't really worry me too much. Maybe the Toucannon was a bit of a problem there, but you know, it's fine. I was happy to get rid of that. Anyway, Grimmsnarl's going to feint to Air Slash there, which is good. So virtually that means no more light screens and reflects and stuff like that. Because this team did lack a bit of power when you took out like Tornadus, the nasty plot Tornadus, right? And Arceus. So I got paralyzed first turn there. I actually still outspent the 2-cannon, and it's going to get Roost off. So I figured they had Roost, because why would you swap it out on such a low amount of health? So I went for the Air Slash there. They actually managed to live that one due to the light screen that Grimmsnarl set up before it fainted, and finished me off with Rock Blast there. So that was fair enough. I still felt like I had the better trade-off there, because I almost took out 2 Pokemon, and I took out their main support Pokemon too. So coming into Tornadus here, I thought, well, I've got Hammer Arm. I could use that and burn up my White Herb, and then I'd be poised to use Acrobatics or full base power. I wasn't really confident about U-turn using that, so I went for Hammer Arm. This time it's going to land, which is excellent, and that's one flat 2-cannon, you know. So my speed is going to drop, but the good thing about White Herb, it just gets rid of that, which is good. So we got 2 Pokemon down. Next Pokemon is Reuniclus. You don't get to see this too often. Reuniclus is a very, very good Pokemon and underrated in my opinion. So I've got Knockoff and U-turn, both good moves for it. I wasn't sure if it had Trick Room or is it just going to straight up attack me with Psychic. So I knocked off its item there, which was a heavy-duty boots, and it actually paralyzed me with Thunder Wave. So another paralyzing Pokemon. So I've got U-turn here, and I've got Acrobatics. So I'll just go for Acrobatics here, and that took it out. So that was really, really good. I was happy to get rid of that, because that can be a bit of a pain with Recover and Calm Mind, and can be very, very bulky, you know, in the right situation. So next Pokemon's going to be Tinkaton. This is where the battle started to get kind of interesting here. So I had Hammer Arm, which I went for. They're going to go for Gigaton Hammer. That's going to almost take me out. Very, very close. Hammer Arm misses there, so I did miss out on some good damage there on Tinkaton, which sucks. So the light screen's gone, which is a bit unfortunate, but then again, I was like, well, I've got one special Pokemon left, so that'll definitely be useful maybe later on in the battle. So Play Rough is going to feint Tornadus, which is fine. Not much I could have done there. I was paralyzed, right? So Corvisquire I thought might be a cool idea to swap in. I was like, I know that I can live these attacks from Tinkaton, and I've got a pretty good idea about, you know, the damage, right? If I get enough Hone Claws and Agility up, I'll even be able to get through Tinkaton. However, Tinkaton set up Sword Dance. I'm like, oh, this is actually really bad. This is actually very, very bad, right? Because, multiple Sword Dances on Gigaton Hammer is going to hurt, right? So I'm outspeeding it, which is good. I'm getting Hone Claws up. I'm building my power trip, right? That was sort of my main goal here. Here comes Gigaton Hammer with a +2. Corvisquire narrowly lives. I was like, man, that sucks. So I went for Roosty. I thought they're going to have to rely on Play Rough. And I had this idea of like, maybe I could get rid of their Gigaton Hammers, because, you know, that was a fairly powerful move. They got Sword Dance, they got Gigaton Hammer and Play Rough, right? That's basically what their set is for offensive moves. So I was like, let's get some damage from Power Trip. You know, any damage is going to be better than nothing at this point, right? So here comes the Gigaton Hammer. So they won't be able to use that next turn. They'll have to use something like Play Rough. So I was thinking, how am I going to get around? It's like, maybe I can take them out with Rookidee. So bringing in Rookidee, I've got an option of going for Tailwind, and I thought, well, I could try and go for that. So Tinkaton sets another Sword Dance up. So obviously being very overconfident there, setting that up, thinking that, you know, Rookidee, you know, what's Rookidee going to be able to do? So I thought, this is really good, because I can get a Hone Claws up, a rare Hone Claws for Rookidee, because usually I'd use Tailwind and Reversal, and then I'd take a Pokemon out, or I'd faint there, right? Funnily enough, there was actually a point here where the attacks missed, so I could set up multiple Hone Claws, which is very unusual. Normally, Rookidee, I'd never even be able to get one up. Then they started setting up, so I'm like, the only bad thing about this is my Tailwind is ending it's going to be ending on the turn that I use, I have to use Reversal 1 HP, and I don't want to show them that. Do I keep setting up Hone Claws? Do I just go for Reversal in hopes that they will attack me this turn? Like, this is a very, very, very big problem here. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm at a very bad spot. So I decided to get damage here, even though I knew that it was going to do nothing. Play Rough misses again. I'm like, thank goodness, right? So this turn, the Tailwind runs out. I'm like, this is great now. So I can use Tailwind this turn. I know they're going to attack with Play Rough, and then I can use Reversal afterwards, right? So that was really, really funny how that worked out. So them greedily using Sword Dance was great, but then it was bad because it stalled out my Tailwind there. I don't think they predicted me having Reversal. I think they'll just, they're just fortunate that it worked out that way. Anyway, so Tinkaton is going to faint, which is excellent. I've got 2 Hone Claws up here. Out comes Superior. So Superior, I thought, gee, I could go for Braybird and completely dominate this. This would be great. But I went for Reversal like bugger. I'm seeing we get a sweep here. And I critted the Superior. Oh, I don't know if that actually mattered. It must have been quite defensive for that to matter because I had +2, right? Last Pokemon is going to be Blaziken. So Blaziken most definitely probably has Speed Boost. So it's going to use Detect here. And it's going to Detect and it's going to get a Speed Boost up. Now, I went for Brave Bird naturally because it's their last Pokemon. I thought, well, it doesn't matter if Rookidee faints here, it's going to be a dub. Sadly, Tailwind ends, and Blaziken now has a speed advantage. So it's going to use Flare Blitz. I was like, oh, okay. Well, it doesn't have Focus Sash. Or, I mean, if it did have Focus Sash, it's now gone. So at least that's good, right? So I've got one more Pokemon left. I'm thinking I've got my... and it also had leftovers too. So like, is this a bulky set? This is interesting, right? So another speed boost for Blaziken. Tornadus is left. And it's my normal Tornadus. So I thought, all right, well, I've got Terra Flying, which, I have to go for anyway. It's not like I could change my type to Terra Water or something. So I went for Terra Flying and I went for Hurricane. That's my strongest move there. There was no point not going for that. Blaziken's going to use Detect again. I guess they thought they just wanted to see what move I was going to use and just make sure they had enough speed here in case maybe in case I was like Choice Scarf or something like that. Not that it mattered. I think I had like, was that +3? +3 in the end. I'm fairly confident. So Blaziken is going to be Terrafire. So I'm like, yeah, that's going to be a Terrafire Flare Blitz. This is going to be hitting really hard. Depending on whether they're Jolly or not. Then they went for Sword Dance. Like, bro, you've been so overconfident with Sword Dance the whole battle. Like, this is really, really going to come back and bite them, because Tornadus just completely decimates them. So that's a GG, but man, I definitely want to say those Sword Dancers, they got greedy on 2 occasions, and both occasions really cost them in the end there, especially with Blaziken. Anyway, that is the end of the 4th battle there. Let's go on to battle number 5. This one, I have no idea what the trainer's name is. If someone wants to translate, that would be wonderful. Our first Pokemon is going to be, oh, look, it's Qianpu, the shiny Qianpao. Now, I'm going to take a quick drink here, people. Right, I'm having some G Fuel, getting that code SALT. You can check that out in the link in the description. So, Rookidee versus Qianpao, what could possibly go wrong? So, setting up Tailwind, this is sort of my test to see whether they had Ice Shard or Sucker Punch. Clearly they don't because, I outsped them and I fainted the Qianpao. So they obviously had all attacking moves there. They probably had, like Icy. They had Icy Crash and, on Night Slash or something, obviously. Next Pokemon, Scissors. I thought, well, surely you're going to go for Bullet Punch here. Do I just swap? Or are you feigning a swap with Sword Dance? I just went for Brave Bird here. I probably could have gone for Reversal and I fainted myself. Just in case, I didn't want to get set up on or anything like that. So I was happy with that. Right? Scissors going to use Slash. I was like, Slash? What is this Scissor set? So, not that I could talk, So, bringing in Tornadus. I've got Heat Wave. I was like, well, Heat Wave is going to be excellent for Scissor. Scissors, Scissor's entire family tree is going to get fainted by that. So, bye-bye Scissor. The slashing Scissor. They must have had Terra Normal, So, Qianpu and Scissor are gone. Now, Pokemon 3 is going to be Wochin. So like, all right, well, this is pretty good this is very, very good because I've got definitely the advantage here, and Wochin's going to get countered really, really hard. So I've got Focus. I mean, all of my moves are going to be good against them. So like, I'll go for Hurricane. Let's see how much this does. Just a raw Hurricane. Wochin got rolled out like a lounge room rug. So that's half the team gone already. I'm like, man, I'm in a very, very good position right now. Next Pokemon's going to be Airfrost. I'm like, oh, nah, this is bad, Things could go bad here. So I thought I probably need to get a nasty plot up. And then I need to use like Focus Blast, you know. This thing has good special defense. So they're going to go for Power Gems. Like, what? They could have gone for an electric move. So, I mean, it still does, don't get me wrong, it still does a lot, but an electric move definitely would have fainted him there. So I'm going to go for Focus Blast. I'm going to unload the whole load, and that's the end of Ampharos. So, man, I guess they had that Rock Incense Power Gem. Next Pokemon's going to be Miraidon. Now, this was the Pokemon that scared me the most. You know, Miraidon completely and utterly counters this team. It's not like I could go for Terra Ground or anything like that. So I had Focus Blast, like, well, I'm just going to go for that. And I outsped. I was like, oh, it's got to be running Modest then. Really, really good damage to Miraidon, and here comes Electro Drift. So I'm like, okay, well, can I outspeed this? I thought, well, both my Tornaduses the same speed, so like I could actually feint this, you know. First things first, so I thought, just in case there's a speed tie or something funky like that, let me try out Corvisquire, right? So I went for agility. I don't know, I guess I wanted to see if I could live Electro Drift. I was being a bit of a smarter here, but it didn't live, you know. So I was like, all right, fair enough. Maybe with max special defense or something. So things are getting a little bit real here, so I had to go with the Tornadus. I had Hammer Arm and Knock Off and U-Turn was the moves that I could use here. But then I thought, well, I've got Terra Flying. Maybe I could use that and feint it. I was like, no, I'll go for U-Turn. But it lived, unfortunately. So that's going to swap me out there. And I was like, well, rest in peace, Arceus. I don't think you're going to live this, right? Maybe I could have got... I was worried about Hammer Arm missing, and I was worried about what if they didn't have an item and I used Knockoff, you know? So Arceus gets melted like a tub of butter, and I've got one Pokemon left here, so I have to take this out. I started dominating this team, and then Miraidon sort of really bridged the gap. So I thought, all right, well, I've got Terra Flying, I've got Acrobatics. I know that won't miss, and at least then I've got my Terra there. And with such a small amount of health, Miraidon is, you know, absolutely not going to be able to live this. I don't mind Tornadus Therian form. It's pretty good. So here comes the Acrobatics and the Outspeed. So yes, it does have 121 base and speed, Tornado. So it's not by no means a slow Pokemon. So Miraidon's down. Last Pokemon is going to be, wait, that's an attack rise. I was like, that's what I was worried about with Iron Valiant. I was like, if this gets a speed rise, I'm in a lot of trouble. So here comes the Terra, and it's Terra Fighting. I'm like, what? I mean, do they only have a fighting move? But I never got to find out what they were going to use because I outsped them with Acrobatics. So Acrobatics with an item, Disrespect KO. And that's the end of the battle. That was a bit of a strange battle, that one. I'm not sure, like that Miraidon, I think Miraidon pretty much beat my team almost by itself there. I really want to know what Iron Valiant was using. Let's be real, though, going for a Karate Chop. All right, let's go to battle number 6 here. Battle against another random opponent today. I don't know what their trainer name is. If you're enjoying yourself so far, hit that like button. Tell me in the comment section below what flying Pokemon is your favorite. Out of all of them, doesn't have to be a mono one. First Pokemon we got is going to be the homie King Toilet. Now, I thought I'd try and get a Hone Claws and then a Reversal up. So Kowtow Cleave is going to put me down to 1 health. And I thought, well, this is great. Unless they've got Sucker Punch, they doubled up. But they didn't double up, and the King Toilet is going to get flushed away. So that was a really, really good start there. The only problem was I didn't set up Tailwind, you know. But there was a reason I didn't do that, because I knew they had Qian Pal in their team. You know, I thought, well, I'll just use Sucker Punch or Ice Charge, you know. And this one's going to use Ice-Seal Crash. So I was like, maybe I should have set up Tailwind. It doesn't really matter anyway. So Rookidee's down. A pretty solid start to the battle. Now, I've got Tornadus here. I thought, well, I've got Heat Wave. I've got... Oh, well, sorry, this is my physical one. I've got Hammer Arm. I thought, oh, I'll go Hammer Arm, activate White Herb, and take them out. I actually outsped that. I was like, oh, they're running Adamant. So that's the end of Qian Pal. I mean, that was a crit. That took out the entire Qian Pal population. Only the shiny Chiampoos remain, you know. So 2 Pokemon down. Next is going to be Ursaluna. I wasn't really confident about this one. I was like, well, I could go for Hammer Arm. I could go for Terra Flying Acrobatics for some damage. I decided to go for a Raw Acrobatics. that did just under half. I was pretty impressed with that. Here comes Blood Moon, and I just lived that narrowly as well. I'm thinking Vacuum Wave wasn't going to faint me. I was like, well, I'll go for U-turn here to get some Regenerator back. Plus, it's not like this could use Blood Moon again. So, bit of Regenerator health back from that damage, and I went into Corvisquire. I thought this should be a pretty good idea. They're going to go for Moonblast here. So, Moonblast doesn't do a lot. That's about it's possibly a 4-hit KO. So, here comes Blood Moon. Surprisingly, I actually lived that and went for Hone Claws here. So, sadly, look, I probably should have gone for Agility there, but I wasn't 100% sure because Ursulin is not a fast Pokemon anyway. Matter of fact, I think they were actually running Speed EVs on this because, like, base 77 Corvisquire. I want to do a calc on that now. Ursulin a Blood Moon, yeah? Yeah. Wait, no, that's normal Ursulin. So, Ursulin a Blood Moon has 52 in speed. Yeah, 140 versus 100. They had speed EVs. Ah, okay, that's why. All right. I see, because I should have outsped them, of course, even with no speed EVs then. Anyway, in comes Ogerpon, and out goes Ogerpon. So I'm just completely dominating with acrobatics at the moment. The next Pokemon to come in is going to be Kyogre. So Kyogre, well, any water move or ice move is going to destroy me. So I thought, gee, I could get some really good damage here by going for Terra Flying. Or I could go for U-turn, hit it with U-turn, and then bring it back in. So I was like, who's the most expendable Pokemon on my team at the moment? I've got Arceus and I've got the other Tornadus. I thought, well, Arceus is a bit of a beast. Let's see how that goes. They use Muddy Water. That did some damage. That was a 2-hit KO. Very, very impressive there. So I was like, I could go for Calm Mind and then I could go for Air Slash. Let's give that a shot, right? I wasn't expecting Muddy Water. So I've got Calm Mind up. This is going to allow me to live the next Muddy Water, hopefully, if I don't get critted or something like that. I was actually kind of low-key hoping they'd miss, right? I live the next one, which is really good. No accuracy drops or, scum like that. Going for Air Slash. Kyogre's fat special defense actually saves it there. So Muddy Water will take out my Arceus. But it's now, I did lose Arceus, sure, but now it's in a much more manageable amount of health for me to finish off with Tornado. So I could go for U-turn again here, or I could just go for Hammer Arm. I decided to go for U-turn. I may as well get all of my health back, right, with Regenerator. So Kyogre is down. All that is left now is my other Tornadus. I'm like, oh, this is good. It's raining, so I can actually make use of Hurricane. It's going to be 100% accurate. It's going to be great. But I was like, oh, wait, it's a Growler. So, fortunately, the rain's going to go and the sun's going to happen. So I'm definitely not going to go for Hurricane to the sun. That's going to miss. So I've got Heat Wave. I thought, gee, Heat Wave's going to be good. I might as well go for that. I've got nothing to lose. Or I could go for Nasty Plot too. I was just a bit worried about like a rock type move, and Groudon's got a very, very big attack stat. So I went for Heat Wave, really good damage. Like really, really good damage. Here comes Fire Punch. Fire Punch does a lot, but Fire Punch doesn't have a huge amount of base power. So Heat Wave is going to be a clean 2-hit KO on this Groudon, and that's pretty much the end of the game then. No misses or anything like that, which is good. They actually didn't Terra there. Maybe they didn't Terra because they brought 6 Pokemon along. Sometimes I get that. But anyway, that is the end of the 6th battle. Let's get on to the final battle, battle number 7. Now, this battle had a little bit of a frame rate issue there, so it's going to look a tiny little bit choppy. The only reason I'm using it is because it was such a good battle, and I wanted to show it to you guys. There was some real BS happening, right? So first Pokemon's going to be Lady Gaga, and we've got a Focus Sash Espartha, right? That's going to go for Calm Mind. So it's a Calm Mind and Speed Boost, stored power set. The set that works best on Esparta for singles and even for doubles. So it's very, very threatening. I'm going to go for U-turn here. Then they're going to use Protect. So that's going to be able to outspeed me. So I thought, all right, you've got a Speed Boost. I still have a really low chance of actually leaving the stored power, right? Then they went for Baton Pass. Oh no, this is bad. This is very bad. The Pokemon that received it was Glimora. I'm like, oh no. So I got to face Vegeta's Glimora. I mean, Gita's Glimora, not Vegeta's, you know. So I swapped out with U-turn. I broke that focus sash. I'm thinking I've got Arceus, Rookidee's nuts, Corvisquire. I went into Arceus. I thought that'll be good. I've got Earth Power. This should be a good chance to, you know, feint it. So here comes the Power Gem. Arceus lives it on 13 health, and I took out Glimora in my dreams, right? It lives somehow. I was like, how the heck did I guess it was like the bulk that it got from that calm on it. So I'm like, do I sacrifice Arceus here, or do I save it? I thought, no, I'm going to save that. I thought that Corvisquire was the most expendable on my team at the moment, judging on what they brought in the team preview. So Corvisquire gets absolutely rinsed there. Nothing I could do. Things are bad. I'm in a very, very tough spot now. So bring in Rookidee. I was like, this is great. I can go for reversal here. I've got a focus sash. I can get rid of this Glimora, right? So Glimora, all they wanted to do is just baton pass a Calm Mind and press the A button with Power Gem. They didn't even want to work, right? So I was like, yep, that's gone now. So now you're actually going to have to work. You're going to have to try and figure out how you're going to beat this team without, you know, a dominating, super effective move. So then they brought in normal Avalugg, which you don't get to see very often. I'm on 1 HP here. I'm thinking, I'll just go for reversal. It's going to be good. I didn't do a lot of damage, and it had Rocky Helmet. So like, this is actually a good counter because it's very bulky on the defensive side for my physical Pokemon, and it has Rocky Helmet too. Bringing in Arceus, I thought, well, it's time to take advantage of its poor special defense. So I'm going to go for Air Slash misses. I'm like, no, that was such a big miss there. And they're going to Avalanche. I mean, of course, you know, Avalanche is a good move on Avalugg, but this is like the most times you'll see Avalanche. So bringing in Tornadus now. I was pretty salty that I missed that Air Slash, and Heat Wave's going to feint it. So I'm like, all right, it's fine. I've got 2 Pokemon left, both my Tornadus, right? Next Pokemon's Dragon Ball. Now, this worried me a ton. I was like, I absolutely have to hit this hard, and I got to hit it fast, right? So I went for Terra Flying with Hurricane. All I had left was my physical one in the back, and you know that one's nowhere near as good as this. Hurricane misses, so I'm like, oh no! Here comes the Dragon Darts. There's the first one. There's the second one. I lived on 1 health. It's got Life Orb, and it had Sucker Punch. I'm like, come on! Oh, it's like those misses mattered so much. Like Avalugg and Dragon Pulse. Like, I don't know, guys. This could be it. You know, I was very, very worried. I'm like, I don't know if I can get out of this situation. So I went for knockoff on the Dragapult, and I took it out. I was like, yes. So that Dragapult wasn't max speed, right? They had more bulk and investment into attack. Next Pokemon's going to be King Toilet. They got that Supreme Flush. Hammer Arm does not miss, and I punched the toilet roll. I punched the toilet roll down the entire toilet, and Esparta was the last Pokemon after this, right? And they had a Chestnut as well. So like, this is awesome. This is free real estate. So I took it out of Acrobatics, 4 times super effective. And that's it, right? Esparta was 1 HP, and I was like, well, I can use anything. I was going to go for Hammer Arm for disrespect, but you know, just in case, you know, they went for Calm Mind, I went for U-turn. That's the end of the battle. What a comeback there. Drop a like on the video. I'll catch you all tomorrow for some more vids. Peace out, everyone. Really fun team today. I really enjoyed it.